Welcome back to Force Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about Camber Energy going with the ticker CEI. Now, I did talk about this one, my last video is in the description below, but without further ado, let's jump right into this one and talk a little bit more about further due diligence and technical analysis. Now, in my last video, you'll find that I did talk about multiple things, including how this one is relating towards to Viking and Simpsons Maxwell Limited. Now, just if this is the first time ever you're hearing about Camber Energy, Camber Energy has holdings or majority holdings in Viking Energy Group, and Viking Energy Group has holdings in Simpsons Maxwell's. So in kind of retrospect, Camber Energy owns both. Now, Camber Energy is an energy company, as the name suggests, that is interested in also carbon capture systems and coming in with a net zero system. Now, the latest release of news wasn't actually on the news site, it was mainly on the SEC filing. And there's no new presentation to talk about from here. But taking a look into that SEC filing that I just mentioned, this was actually submitted on the 22nd of September 2021. So it's a couple of days, and it will kind of put in retrospect into why it is being pushed upwards as well. So basically, back early on in, I believe, early September or previous PR, they did mention that there was some critical error in the accounting and that some of the shares or some of the statements were not to be relied on. Right here, that some of the financial statements should not be relied on, and filed a current report on the form of 8K with SEC Commission on or about September 16th, 2021 regarding that non-reliance. So what happened? They actually dismissed their previous independent registered public accounting firm. So they basically fired them. And that news was put out on the 22nd of September. That could give us an idea into why the 23rd and the 24th really pushed forward higher from levels where it was around 150 all the way currently towards 204 and topping in the day around 231. Now, in terms of the short flow, it's anticipated that this one has around 24.56% of the short float. Not the highest, but the shares flow appears to be lower, around 25 million shares than some of its competitors. And that makes it a lot easier to pump for a lot of people, for a lot of these financial quote-unquote gurus or furus, whatever they call themselves. And the idea that is happening here that I do want to emphasize is because they had some errors with reporting, this numbers or this shares flow might not be accurate. Keep that in mind. Now, on another thing that we want to take a look at relating towards shorts is short volume. The short shares availability is currently 0. That means it's pretty much shorted out, or people aren't, or companies or institutions aren't lending out short shares. Short borrow fee rate is not applicable at this level. And what you're seeing is that more than 50% of any given day is going on towards the short volume side, which is still quite a significant push on a day-to-day basis. Now, another thing that I do want to take a look at is on Twitter and other kind of social media platforms, there's a lot of attention for CEI with people pushing it and saying, putting in a price target of $2, then $3, and then $5. So far, they've reached a 2. The question is whether it will reach 3, and from 3 it's probably 5, and probably once it reaches 5 we'll go to 10 and 100, etc. You get the point. But you got to be very careful of pump and dumps, and if there's no news to back this one, usually things like that happen, that it drops after a while. As you get to see here, even with the massive push all the way coming in back from 81 cents to around 314, I believe, it did drop back because fundamentals matter the most at the end of the day. Now, moving on as well in terms of Google Trends, and this is in the United States, the general web search, you're able to see that there is still some significant mentions relative towards the September 10th, where it peaked in terms of mentions for the CEI stock. And you're still able to see that their current volume of searches is somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2. To be specific, around 41% and 39% for yesterday and today respectively, in compared to around September 10th. The majority of people that are actually looking at this one are people in Idaho, and then Delaware and District of Columbia. So taking a look as well on another thing, institutional buyers. Institutional buyers don't show any difference since my last video. Last one was Virtual Capital and Bank of America liquidating majority of their position. Virtual, all of it. Bank of America around 85% out. Insiders don't have anything new to add into the table for this one. And before we move on towards technical analysis, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave your notifications on for this channel. Also, don't forget to drop a like if you've actually enjoyed this video. You can go a step further and join our free Discord, where it's pretty much nothing more than a chat room with a bunch of amazing people, and we're not trying to sell you on anything on there. Now let's move on to some technical analysis. Now from a technical analysis perspective, we see a couple of things on here. First off, the moving averages itself, they're all indicating bullish. 10 SMA is currently above the 30 EMA, and that's a very bullish price action level. And there's something called a trading action zone between them, where you're most likely going to see positive reversals. That's between the 166 and the 117. Also, what we get to see is that the 50 SMA, which is in purple line, is curving upwards to meet the 200 SMA, which is in blue. And in this kind of rate, we anticipate that we're going to see a cross of the 50 SMA from the bottom of the 200 SMA, which is also called Golden Cross. And this is a very bullish indicator that we're most likely going to see next week. Another note, the 80X, which is the average directional index, shows that this is an incredibly strong trend and it has a chance to continue moving on, as it's currently below 50. Above 50 is where you need to start worrying about negative reversals, but I've seen stock go all the way to 75. Now on the William percent R, which is very similar to the relative strength index, it shows that this one is overbought, meaning there's a lot more buying attention than usual. And on the MACD, I was expecting that by the end of this week we might test negative reversals, and we actually did. So you're able to see the histogram went downwards, very close towards the zero line, and is now going towards the positive line, suggesting that this negative reversal it attempted on the end of the 22nd is actually reversed, and now it's going on towards a bullish kicker. Again, a bullish thing. Momentum is also back strong on the positive side at 105. Now, stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both suggesting to be very careful where the resistance is, because if it's not far, you might want to consider selling. Now, on the moving averages band though, and volumes, everything is still going up with a strong momentum. As you get to see, the moving averages are slanted upwards. These are the moving averages bands and the Bollinger bands, and that is a very bullish thing. On another note, the volumes are picking up back again from the 22nd. You're able to see 23rd and 24th. Each day, the volumes are increasing significantly. Now, on another thing that I do really want to highlight is Fibonacci retracements, because high-frequency traders and institutional buyers do use it. So the current resistance level is at the 204. Above there, 251. Above there, 310. Supports are at 172, 139, 98 cents and 33 cents. But if we go ahead with some price line action, we're able to see that there is a very strong resistance at the 210. Above there, 218. Above there, very close to around the 230 level. A little bit of a harder one at 238, 280, and 310. Current supports, we have a few. Current strong support is at the 190. Below there, it's the 180. Below there, it's the 172, going downwards to the 159, 153, and then downwards to around 146, 137, and then downwards to 124, 115, downwards to 109, going downwards to around 96 cents, 83 cents, 79 cents, going downwards to 65 cents, and then to 55 cents, and then 44 cents and 33 cents. Coming into the question to Ed, what do you think is going to most likely happen here? Now, I see that the retail push is continuous on. $3 might be very much possible in the next few days. But as this one is not really being pushed by massive news or structure, but relating towards some social influencers on Twitter, Reddit, or whatever they're using at this point, are trying to push this one for a $3 target merit because it was $3 before, I can tell you that it's very possible. And it's probably history is going to repeat itself, where it really did jump, touch the $3, and then drop back. The question is, once it does, and a lot of these price targets are realized and they start selling, will you be able to sell fast enough? And that is the definition of stocks that can be categorized as pump and dump, where people collectively pump them up in order to raise some money out and then try to sell in the right moment. The question is, when is this right moment to sell? And that would be really dependent on the choice you make. So what do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.